If I tell you to bury your threads, would you have any idea what I'm talking about? It's a trick that comes into use over and over again as I sew. I'm going to share with you today how to bury your threads. I can very easily take myself back to probably the fall of 1972, just months after my husband and I were married, and I was making him a gray polyester suit, pant, and sport coat. I had learned how to do that at a friendly shop in downtown Normal, Illinois. I learned so much more about sewing at that shop than I did in my college coursework. It just amazes me. At any rate, those were the days of buttonhole twist, where we put that tiny little wooden spool with a thicker, shiny thread, and we did our top stitching with that on the top and regular thread on the bottom. As I was top stitching the notched lapel area of his suit coat, I wanted that pretty thread on top. But as you can see here where a lapel folds back, that's really the bottom of this part. So I couldn't start stitching, come around, and have the pretty thread on the top here and on there, correct? I would have to break the stitching. So in other words, I'd have to stop here and stop here. So I put the pretty thread on top for there and there, but for that fold back lapel portion, I had to have the top be here. So therefore, I had these huge long threads left. I don't know why it didn't become immediately obvious to me, but back then it didn't. I mean, that's 50 years ago. All I thought was I could tie a knot, but I really don't need to tie a knot if I do this. I'm just going to have a needle, a little spit on the end of the threads. Always works well. I teach my young students to spit and squeeze the ends of the thread. So here I am. Now I'm just going to go right back in and guide my needle between the layers. All right, between the layers. And then out somewhere far away, pull the needle, and then clip nice and close. My threads are now buried, are they not? And I promise you that really isn't going to come out. I've done it over and over again. So in this case, I would now take these threads, do the same thing, and these threads up here and do the same thing. Let me talk a little bit also about sewing with heavy threads in your needle. When you're doing top stitching, you want that heavier thread in the needle, and when you use a heavier thread, I highly recommend a top stitched needle. And again, I'm going to recommend these color coding tags. I send these with every order that comes to my website. And in this case, I chose a top stitch 90/14. The first number is the European number, the second number is the American number. My brain thinks European when it comes to needle sizes. But the size of the hole of that size needle accommodates well this thicker thread, which is a cotty thread. There's all kinds of ones available now out there. But regular thread in the bobbin. So that's how you bury threads without tying a knot and keeping them secure. My mission is to share all I know about sewing here on my channel so that you can come to love sewing just as much as I do.